Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to talk to you today about how Mike Pompeo was right to discuss EWC, or expropriation without compensation, in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. And Mike Pompeo was right to say that South Africa's EWC, or expropriation without land compensation, is not going to work, and it's going to end in dismal failure, and it's going to wreck South Africa's economy even worse than it already is. And South Africa is already in junk status as it is, and the rand is becoming more and more devalued over time. Well, Mike Pompeo recently made a U.S. state visit to several African nations: Ethiopia, Senegal, Angola, just to name a few. He actually praised Angola's anti-corruption campaign. And when he made a press conference in Ethiopia, he talked about how the EWC, the expropriation without compensation, would end in dismal failure, and it will make South Africa like Mugabe's 2000 Zimbabwe. Well, people like Cyril Ramaphosa say that this time it's going to work, but Cyril Ramaphosa and his cabinet don't give any specific examples of how it's going to work, and many people in Cyril Ramaphosa's political party, ANC, still regard Robert Mugabe as a hero. So they don't give specific examples of how it's going to work this time, and which is not going to work. And basically, this expropriation without compensation does not encourage private property rights. It does not encourage restitution to people who unjustly lost their land. It goes to the ANC government, and land that the ANC government has already brought back, which they can do that with compensation. But what they brought back from farmers with compensation, the land had only about 6 to 10% of the land at the most has been transferred to the hands of the poor. Most of it remains in hands of government cronies, and the land's not tended to. And that's only going to get worse when it's without compensation. And these are the numbers right here. And only 1% of black South Africans believe the land transfer would make South Africa a better place and make South Africa's economy better. Most black South Africans don't care about the land. And most of the land in South Africa is public ownership and owned by the South African government, or government cronies as is. Only 26% of land in South Africa is owned by private individuals, or small private companies. And of that 26% of the land that's privately owned, 70% is owned by white people, but not 70% of all the land. That's something people need to remember. Yes, this is expropriation without compensation be a disaster, because the expropriation with compensation that's happened, the land that has been successfully transferred, the government has not provided farming materials to the people who have gotten the land. They've not provided proper agriculture training. And a lot of the people who have gotten their land back through compensation have hired white South African farmers to teach them how to farm. So, hope everybody's doing well. Take care. God bless them. Bye. Bye-bye.